Good afternoon and welcome to the Etihad Stadium, where the Saturday match this comes from there, as Manchester City take on Newcastle. Kick-off just 15 minutes away between them and Newcastle United. So a big game for us to do this afternoon, and it should be an absolute humdinger, and I hope you'll be able to join us. Hashtag JB Live if you want to join in the conversation. But there has been other games taking place across the country today, and we're going to in just a minute get you the classified football results. But I just want to, before we go on to the football results, I've been speaking to Chris Whiteman today on the phone. He's been spending a bit of time away with his family, and I'm pleased to announce that that he's ready to come back on the YouTube channel, and he will be back with us on the Saturday game after the international break. So he's feeling a lot happier now. He's feeling more refreshed. He's had a bit of time away from it all, which is understandable. He had a great World Cup, and Chris Whiteman will be back on commentary duty after the international break, for which we're taking a break as well after this weekend's batch of games for you that we've got coming up. Starting here at the Etihad Stadium, where it's Manchester City against Newcastle United from, as I said, the Etihad Stadium. Right, anyway, before we move on to our match itself, as I said, there's been other games taking place up and down the land in England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. So let's get over and let's get the full classified check of this afternoon's fixtures from England and Scotland. And from England and Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland as well. So let's give you quickly the full classified check. Starting today with the Premier League, lots of games been happening. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Fulham 2, Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 0, Southampton 2, Everton 1, Huddersfield 1, Leicester 1, Liverpool 2, Man City Newcastle's our match at 5:30, and West Ham 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Sky Bet Championship, Birmingham City 0, QPR 0, Brentford 2, Nottingham Forest 0. That's actually a later score. Well, it was a later score. Hull 1, Derby County 2. Millwall against Swansea, that's an evening kick-off at 5:30. Preston 2, Bolton Wanderers 2. Reading 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Sheffield United 4, Aston Villa 1. West Brom 2, Stoke City 1. And Wigan 1, Rotherham 0. And Brentford Nottingham Forest has just gone in as a result, 2-1 to Brentford. Sky Bet League 1, Accrington 1, Scunthorpe 1. Barnsley 2, Gillingham 1. Burton 3, AFC Wimbledon 0. Coventry 0, Rochdale 1. Fleetwood Town 2, Bradford City 1. Peterborough 1, Doncaster Rovers 1. Portsmouth 3, Plymouth 0. Shrewsbury 1, Bristol Rovers 1. Southend 1, Charlton 2. Sunderland 1, Oxford United 1. Walsall 0, Blackpool 0. And Wycombe 1, Luton Town 1. Sky Bet League 2. Bury 3, Morecambe 2. Cheltenham 1, Colchester 3. Crewe Alexandra 3, Macclesfield Town 0. Exeter 0, Lincoln 3. Grimsby 0, Yeovil 1. Mansfield 1, Carlisle 0. Northampton 1, Tranmere Rovers 1. Notts County 1, Forest Green Rovers 3. Oldham 2, Crawley Town 1. Port Vale 1, Newport 2. Stevenage 0, Cambridge United 1. And Swindon Town 1, the MK Dons 1. Panorama National League. Barrow 1, Solihull Moors 2. Boreham Wood 1, Braintree Town 1. Chesterfield 0, Leyton Orient 1. That was a later score, but I think Leyton Orient won that game anyway. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Salford City 0. Dover 1, Barnet 2. Ipswich United 1, AFC Fylde 3. Gateshead 1, Maidstone 0. Harrogate 4, Eastleigh 0. Hampton Waterlooville 1, Hartlepool 2. Maidenhead 2, Bromley 2. Sutton United 1, Halifax Town 1. And Wrexham 2, Aldershot Town 0. Ladbrokes Premiership in Scotland. Aberdeen 0, Kilmarnock 2. Dundee 1, Motherwell 3. Hamilton Academicals 1, St Johnstone 2. Hearts 4, St Mirren 1. And Livingston 2, Aberdeen 1. Ladbrokes Championship. Alloa 1, Dundee United 1. Dunfermline 0, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 3. Partick Thistle 1, Morton 0. Queen of the South 5, Ayr 0. And Ross County 2, Falkirk 0. Ladbrokes League 1. Airdrie 2, Stranraer 0. Arbroath 2, Brecon City 2. Montrose 0, East 5 2. Raith Rovers 4, Forfar 0. And Stenhousemuir 2, Dumbarton 1. Ladbrokes League 2. Albion Rovers 3, Berwick Rangers 5. Annan Athletic 1, Clyde 2. Elgin City 0, Stirling Albion 3. Peterhead 0, Edinburgh City 1. And Queen's Park 0, Cowden Beef 0. JD Welsh Premier League. Barry Town 2, Connors Quay 0. Carmarthen Town 2, Cardiff MU 0. Kevin Durers against Dundonno, that's an evening kick-off. Newtown 2, Ballatown 0. And finally the Danske Bank Premiership. Glenarvan 1, Glentoran 1. Institute 0, Dungannon Swifts 0. Linfield 0, Ards 0. Newry City 1, Cliftonville 0. And Warren Point 1, Ballymena 6. And that brings us the end of the full classified check. And the table at the top of the table at the moment, Liverpool maximum points from their 4 games. Same with Chelsea. Spurs play tomorrow against Watford. That should be a real cracker down at that should be a real cracker there. Manchester City play in our match later. No 100% record, but they could move up to 10 points, so they could go to third with a win here at the Etihad tonight. Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester, Wolves and Southampton completing the top 10 there, but it is very, very bunched. And at the bottom, quickly, before we build up to tonight's match, the bottom 3 is as follows. Burnley second bottom, and West Ham actually bottom itself. But obviously Burnley have got to play Manchester United and Arsenal 13th and 14th respectively. Cardiff gained another point today. Huddersfield leapfrog Burnley and Newcastle out of the relegation zone. And of course West Ham play 4, lost 4 and have conceded -8 goals in the process. Right, that brings us to the end of the classified check in the Premier League table as things stand at the moment. So let's concentrate on tonight's big game, a massive game of importance between Manchester City and Newcastle United, which should be an absolute humdinger of a match. There's no doubt about that, and we can't wait to bring that to you live from the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City red hot favourites, as you well know, to win the Premier League title once again. Which should be a real humdinger as well, as we wait for the teams to come out here at the Etihad Stadium here in Manchester. I will give you the 2 lineups in just a second because I do have them with me, although you'll have to bear with me on that. Just bear with me on that one. Let's just get the team news up. But I can tell you that Manchester City, Newcastle need the points. They're obviously second bottom. But let's have a look at the 2 lineups, shall we, for this crucial game this afternoon. And obviously I haven't written anything down because it's been quite a long day because I was working the night before, so you'll have to bear with me on some of the commentary elements. Yeah, well, let's have a look at the 2 lineups then that are going to start here today. We're going to start, of course, with Manchester City. They're going to start with Edison in goal, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Laporte at the back, Mendy, then Mahrez, Bernardinho, Silva, Sterling, and then up front Aguero and Gabriel Jesus. On the bench for Manchester City we've got Vincent Kompany, Ilkay Gundogan, Fabian Delph, Bernardo Silva, Otamendi, Phil Foden and Muric. For Newcastle, Dabruka is in goal. Then it's Yedlin, Lascelles restored to the lineup. Fernandez and Clark. And then Dummett, Kennedy, Ki-Sung Young and Diame, and Perez and Rondon further forward. On the substitutes bench for Newcastle, it's Murphy, Muto, Yosalu, Sterry, Darlow the goalkeeper, Atsu and Longstaff. The referee today, Kevin Friend of Leicestershire, and we're all almost ready to start the proceedings here at the Etihad Stadium. But I have to say, it's been a remarkable day's football again in the Premier League, and of course the Championship is certainly proving to be a real two-horse race at the moment, with the top two not winning last night. They played each other, and I think this will be a kick-off here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. And as I say, you can put your comments in the comment section. But as I said, Chris Whiteman, we've been speaking to him this afternoon, and me and Chris had a good chat about things, and he's been spending a lot of time away with his family, which is quite understandable in considering he's had a long World Cup, he's had a long summer, and now he's had that long break away from it all. I think he says he's ready to come back, and in 2 weeks' time you'll hear the return of the prodigal son. Chris Wyman will be returning to the bosom of the JB Claret family, and we can't wait to have him back involved in the picture once again. So we should be hopefully getting some pictures from the Etihad very, very shortly. But I really do think this is a real opportunity now to try and to see what Manchester City can do, keep up, put the pressure on Liverpool. They are the favourites to win the league title, of course. The Etihad will certainly be buzzing for this one, there's no doubt about that. Newcastle, not very good travellers, as we've all come to expect over the years, but in the Premier League it can throw up some very surprising results. And if Newcastle were to win here today, it would be an absolute miracle. I say miracle. And if I just want to say, if Philip Smith's listening, don't bother with the telly. Listen to it here on the JB Claret YouTube channel, because we've got it live for you. We'll have it live for you and in full, hopefully, as soon as we get the kick-off here. But just to go through the two teams once again, I feel that I ought to, just before we do get to the match, as I said, Brighton have drawn 2-2 in their game, and this is going to be, I think it's going to be a tough one for Newcastle. City are usually quite ruthless. So let's just run through that lineups, 2-11s again, in case you missed it just a minute ago. So it's Man City: Henderson, Walker, Stones, Laporte, Mendy, Mahrez, Fernandinho, David Silva, Raheem Sterling, Sergio Aguero and Gabriel Jesus. For Newcastle, it's Dabruka, Yedlin, Lascelles, Fernandez, Clark, Dummett, Kennedy, Ki-Sung Young, Diame, Perez and Rondon. The referee, Kevin Friend from Leicestershire. And we're still waiting for the start of this game, which is going to be it's going to be frantic, frenetic, and all sorts here. We're almost set to go. The two teams out in the tunnel, and we're all set to go. They're out on the pitch as we speak. And as soon as the game gets underway, the commentary will be underway, and we can't wait. I can't wait to bring it to you live here on the JB Claret YouTube channel. What an atmosphere it will be, and it's been an unbelievable week in football. Manchester United against Burnley. That's a real grudge match coming up tomorrow. That one, big game at both ends of the spectrum. Will it be Mourinho's last game in charge at Turf Moor tomorrow? We'll be there to find out. neither live or delayed, of course, but we are waiting to start at the Etihad Stadium. Incidentally, if you are listening in and you want to make the comments, you make your comments about the game, and only about the game, by the way. Just do the hashtag JB Live, and then you'll be good to go. So start or end your message with the hashtag JB Live, and then you'll be all set to go in that particular fashion. At the moment, we're waiting to start commentary, but at the moment we haven't had the chance. But we will start commentary in just a second or two. This would be once we get going again. At the moment, we haven't got any moving pictures at the moment, so until we get the moving pictures, we can't go with the commentary, unfortunately. But we'll endeavour to bring them to you in what way we can, and we are live now. So we're all set to go. They are just about to kick off, incidentally, now at the Etihad. And here we go then. The Saturday match live for you from the Etihad Stadium. There they are, the two managers shaking hands. There's the referee, Kevin Friend of Leicestershire. And we're all set to go then. Newcastle in the black and white stripes. Manchester City, of course, in that famous sky blue shirt. And it's going to be Newcastle United to get us underway in the first half. So what an opportunity now. Obviously we'll let you know about the championship game between Millwall and Swansea. That's going to kick off around about the same time. So off we go then. Newcastle in those famous black and white stripes to get us away, and they're attacking the goal to our left. And here's a chance now for the Army over on the far side, and the ball played back once more, and good early pressing there from Newcastle, and it's a throw in. And I have to say, it's a remarkable fixture, this, really, that Newcastle don't really do well in. It's very hard to disparate the Newcastle team, because the black and white stripes, it makes it very difficult. That's Ayoze Perez there conceding the first free kick. David Silva's taking it quickly, gets the ball back just shy of halfway. Last season, Manchester City just about edged to get 2-1 against Newcastle. Well, Rafa's side yet to win yet. Although from a Burnley point of view, we could do with them losing today. But it's early days yet. The ball back with Ederson in the City goal. And of course, City playing 4-3-3. Just to remind you of the team. Ederson in goal for Man City. It's back four, in fact, of Mendy, Laporte, Stones and Walker. And then you've got a midfield three of Silva, Fernandinho and Riyad Mahrez, with Mr. Aguero in the centre of Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling. Jesus on the left, Sterling on the right. And that's the Manchester City 11. Newcastle line up as follows. Brooker is going to be the goalkeeper for Newcastle. And then it's, I would sense, a back three of Dominic Clark and Fernandes. And then it's Lascelles and Yedlin, the two holders. Unless it's a back five. It might be a back five, actually. Pires, Diarmi, Key and Kennedy, the midfield four. And Rondon up front. So, plenty there to be excited about in terms of personnel and what might happen on the field. As Pires gets the ball here for Newcastle. Plays it out to Dummett. Dummett gets it long. It hits a Newcastle player and then ambles out of play. Off by Ayoze Perez, incidentally, and it's out for a throw taken by Walker. Now Fernandinho takes it up. 0-0 with just over 2 minutes 20 seconds of the first half gone. Manchester City against Newcastle here at the Etihad Stadium. The Saturday game live on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Tomorrow we'll have extensive delayed commentary, or maybe even Monday, of Burnley against Manchester United from Turf Moor, which could be a real humdinger of a matchup, but down at Turf Moor. But we're live here, and then we're going to take a week. We're going to take the next weekend off, recharge the batteries, and go again. As the long ball comes in towards the far side, and it's Riyad Mahrez gets his first touch on the right hand side. Dummett to face him. The ball into the penalty area, hooked away, but only as far as Silva. Silva gets it away, but again, good play this from Manchester City trying to force Newcastle back significantly. Mendy gets the ball back to his goalkeeper Edison. Should be. You would think the bookies make Manchester City quite odds-on favourites to win the game, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least that if the case is that City were to win the game, as we see an opportunity there for City. They dispossessed Newcastle just in halfway line and played a lovely ball out towards the right hand side, and it was a good opportunity there, shot just wide in fact, and it was Kyle Walker getting it onto the right foot and just shooting wide there for Pep Guardiola's team. In fact, it wasn't, it was Riyad Mahrez. I do apologise. It was the conversation between Chris Whiteman and I was so long, I didn't have time to prep the two teams on a sheet of paper, so I might have to do that maybe at half time. But it's 0-0 here. Stones gets possession here for Manchester City. 0-0 here at the Etihad Stadium. The Saturday game live, and this will be the last tea time match I'll cover for a little while, because Chris Whiteman is coming back and he will do Saturday tea time matches. And of course, we'll just a little announcement as well. The FA Cup from the first round onwards will be covered significantly by the JB Claret channel, as we see a foul there by Laporte on Key in the centre of the pitch, just on halfway. Laporte left him very, very late. So a free kick to Newcastle, the Magpies, or the Toon Army as they're affectionately known. It's a free kick now, it's taken short, and the ball back once more again. It's going to be De Bruyne now who's going to take the possession here as he kicks away. De Bruyne has flicked it on. Sterling is there to win. Fernandinho are in there to win it for Manchester City. The ball back now, and Stones does well. Gets the ball over the halfway line, and now Mendy goes forward. Mendy plays a nice ball, and Fernandinho takes it up inside the centre circle, plays a long ball which is bisected everybody, including Riyad Mahrez, and out for a goal kick to Newcastle. Rafa Benitez will be a little bit disappointed that the free kick in the end didn't come to much. Had men in the box and decided to go back to the goalkeeper. Here's De Bruyne with a goal kick. We've just had over 6 minutes gone. Manchester City 0, Newcastle United 0 in the Premier League. City win the free kick, and they get on with it straight away. The Sky Blues of Manchester looking to try and inject a bit of life into the title race there. The league champions, a real test of Pep Guardiola's management skills. To win it in England is one thing, but to then defend it is quite another. Here's Sterling now on the ball, gets the ball forward up towards Silva. Silva now deep inside the Newcastle territory, giving away again. Here's a chance now on the far side. It's Jesus now, he cuts in. Gabriel Jesus into the bottom corner. That was some goal. In fact, it wasn't, it was Raheem Sterling. I do apologise. And it's a goal for Manchester City. 1-0. Raheem Sterling with the goal. And, well, it's going to be a long afternoon for those Newcastle fans. Nuban Ninja says, I shout out, please. There you go. And please hashtag it as well, JB Live. I did call the scorer wrong. Both Jesus and Sterling look the same, but it's Raheem Sterling's goal, I can tell you that. Called it wrong. I don't usually have lack of preparation, but it's all thrown me here. But it's Sterling with the right foot. Good finish. And right into the corner beyond the dive of Martin De Bruyne. Well, Rafa furious. Pep inwardly delighted. A little wave to the crowd there, and Raheem Sterling a little punch in the air as well. 8 minutes gone. Man City 1, Newcastle 0. And here comes Ayoze Perez for Newcastle up towards the edge of the area. Does well into the penalty area, but runs into trouble. And in the end, Mendy was able to get it away. Finds John Stones, keeps it in place. Stones, well, wins the goal kick. And that'll be a little bit of a relief to John Stones and to Manchester City there a little bit, because they nearly played themselves into a wee bit of trouble there. Jamal Lascelles, the big number 6, the Newcastle side, had a training ground bushed up with Matt Ritchie in midweek, and one of the reasons why I think he was left out last week in the game against Chelsea, which really did not help anybody in the long run. But City have been giving the ball away carelessly. Well, certainly Mendy was, and here goes Yedlin down that far side, and he can't go any further. Stones intercepts and now finds Silva. Referee Kevin Friend letting the game flow. There was an advantage there initially to Manchester City, but he's pulled it back because Newcastle had enough back. Welcome back to the game, everybody. Just lost a bit of sound there for a second or two, but we are back now with you live. And Manchester City forced a corner while we were forced off air, but nothing came to it, and they just had a cross that was knocked away once more. So we are back live with the action. Still 1-0 to Manchester City. The goal from Raheem Sterling. Here's Kyle Walker touching it back to John Stones. Stones now just at walking pace. 15 yards inside the Newcastle half, just to the right of the centre circle. I do apologise for the loss of sound, it just happens that way. Here's David Silva in towards Sterling. Sterling edge of the area, good skill, takes on 2 or 3 defenders and then trying to beat everybody that was an all-comer. Now finds Walker, now finds Mahrez. Mahrez on the right hand side, takes on the defender here. Riyad Mahrez into the penalty area, pulled back towards the Fernandinho, who tries to chip it in, but he can't find anybody, and it's behind for a Newcastle goal kick with just over 12 minutes gone. Well, interesting stuff in this first half. It really has. As we saw, Raheem Sterling, this is the goal. Wiggled, got his shot off into the right hand corner of the net. It was a really good strike by the England man, who didn't score in the World Cup during the summer, but his performances were just were good enough. Well, more than good enough to put him still on the world bracket. That is for certain. He didn't play too badly in that run. A lot of people would argue he didn't score, and a lot of people were getting on his back that he didn't didn't score at all in the tournament. But that's immaterial now for that argument. But the mighty City are 1-0 up here against the Toon Army. And here's Walker now for Manchester City in towards Silva. Silva turns nicely here, and he's got Mahrez on that near side with a good tackle there. Again, the Newcastle defence on red alert as we come up towards 13 and a half minutes gone here at the Etihad. Newcastle trail 1-0 here. We covered them early doors against Tottenham, where they gave a good account of themselves up at St James's. They gave a good account of themselves at home to Chelsea before losing. There's still a long way to go in the season, and it'll be a pleasing aspect to get the games over with. Burnley have got Manchester United, and you'll be able to hear that one in full, either live or delayed over the next day or so. What a game it would well prove to be. And there'll be a Facebook Live actually on that later on. The ball goes out to Sterling on the far side. He's tracked here by the defender. Takes him on. Beats Yedlin. That gets the ball into the penalty area. Hooked out for a throw-in. And it's Jamal Lascelles who gets back there. Who does the defending there. The throw-in's taken very quickly towards David Silva here for Manchester City. And the ball again ushered out over on the far side for a throw-in. It's down to Newcastle. David Silva, who's the City captain today, with Vincent Kompany on the substitutes bench. Guardiola stroking his beard, deep in thought. His side one up, maybe could be more up. Well, they are certainly out possessioning Newcastle here at the moment. Their player's been merited with a goal so far, scored by Sterling. This is Kyle Walker on the right hand side. Kyle Walker does well, has to pirouette back inside. Here's Mahrez, who we saw in the Charity Shield caused 1 or 2 problems for Chelsea at Wembley a few weeks ago. And the ball out towards the far side, and it's Sterling once again. Sterling picking the ball up. Fernandinho now, just lovely little possession football here from Manchester City, what we come to expect. Shot comes in from 20 yards, and it was Sergio Aguero on his right foot. I think it might have got a nick on that, and took it wide. Hard to tell from the naked eye, but we'll have a look at the replay. I'm just seeing a replay from behind the goal, and I thought it deflected. Let's have a look if it did deflect off a defender. It certainly didn't, by the looks of it there. It didn't deflect off any Newcastle player. Don't know, I could certainly make out. But it's De Bruyne with the goal kick. 3/4 of the way almost up the field. Looking for Kennedy. And then the ball jostled out by Stones. And City now have to go again. Ball's been kept in down on that near side. There's 2 Newcastle defenders converging on Kyle Walker there as he played the ball forward. And Newcastle again content to get the ball back to De Bruyne as much as they can. So De Bruyne now hoists it right footed well over the halfway line. Easily 1-0 in the air by Laporte. Headed back with great interest again by Newcastle. And that's given away once more. And a chance now for Mendy to come forward, but he's run out of pitch. Newcastle claiming a decision against them. Mendy having plenty to say about the situation. And would like you to comment with the hashtag JBLive, JBLIVE, please. Here's Laporte for Manchester City, signed back in January now, amazingly. And this is Mendy into Silva. Silva trying to feed Aguero this time, and away by De Bruyne up towards halfway still. And here's a chance now for Rondon up front on his own. And I think the problem is when you're going to play one up top away from home and then you concede the first goal very early on, it's very difficult to try and get players like Solomon Rondon into the game. Tossing away, working hard up against the likes of Laporte and Stones, but it's having an adverse effect here on Newcastle at the moment. City just attacking, and that's a good ball forward, and a chance here now inside the penalty area. Real chance for Jesus, and he gets his shot off, and it's a very, very good save by De Bruyne. Hit it on his left foot deep inside the penalty area, about 10 yards from goal, but he just hit it tamely straight to the goalkeeper, who went to his right hand side, to the left as we look. And Jesus here on the side of his foot should have made it too there. Good goalkeeping though by De Bruyne. Really good goalkeeping. JB Lib. It's JB Live. L-I-V-E, not B-E. Let's we might have to send some of you fantastic lots of some spelling bees, but I'm kidding. But at the moment it's still 1-0 to Manchester City, and really and utterly true. They're looking in complete control of the game, but it's not another 0-0 draw. We've not had any 0-0s in our Saturday night matches so far this season, and De Bruyne hits it straight at Jesus. On another day, that could have gone straight back past him and into the net, but it went deflecting away, thankfully for Newcastle. Stones has won it well. Stones has won it off Kennedy, and now a chance now for Newcastle to do some more defending, because Silva plays it on towards Laporte. Back to Stones once again. Stones, nice range of passing there. Back towards Kyle Walker. Now Stones again finds Laporte, his centre-back partner. 1-0, sorry, to Manchester City. The goal very early doors from Raheem Sterling. At the moment, it looks as if it's going to decide things here at the Etihad Stadium. But I very much doubt it's going to be a 1-0 score, and I think there's going to be more than one goal in the game. Sterling has just drifted into midfield for a second or two as Mendy has it over on the far side. Sterling makes the break on the left, and that's going to fall to De Bruyne, who takes the ball very confidently. Sterling appreciates the through ball, though the attempted through ball, but well gathered in there. Well, plenty of food for thought for Pep. I would think more food for thought for Rafa Benitez with 20 minutes gone as De Bruyne kicks away. They haven't really forced Edison into any meaningful save at all in the first half of my own memory, so there was problems afoot for Newcastle here. Obviously the ownership issue with Mike Ashley, and then hitting Paul Dummett, hitting that one right in the air there, and in the end Newcastle get away with it. They get a free kick from Mr. Friend, the referee. 20.5 minutes gone, and a worried look I see there on Rafa Benitez's face. Again, another wasteful set piece there from Newcastle, trying to pick out the man on the far side. I think it might have been Kennedy. Here's Stones now over towards halfway line for Manchester City. Went virtually untracked. Now Fernandinho has it inside the centre circle, and it goes there towards Jesus, but he loses the ball, and now a chance for Newcastle to break, but they can't break out at the moment. It's key there. We're playing the misplaced pass through the centre circle and then straight out of play on the near side. My heavens, it's been a very frustrating 22 minutes if you're a Newcastle United supporter. Don't worry, and here is Silva straight away. It's absolutely fine, don't worry. We take these things with a pinch of salt on this channel. Here's David Silva now for Manchester City, out to the far side. Good football this again. Sterling going for it and plays the ball in, and Jamal Lascelles got there again. Denied Mendy from going any further forward. And it's a corner kick to Manchester. No, it's a throw-in, sorry, to Manchester City. 5 yards from the corner quadrant on the left-hand side. Infield it goes again. Back to Mendy once more. Back inside again. Good football again from Manchester City, and smashed out of play this time for another throw-in. And taken quickly once again. 1-0 is the score, and here's Fernandinho with a lovely ball in, and the goalkeeper De Bruyne coming right out there to dive full length to catch that ball, and in the end took it well, albeit one for the cameras, although the ball was going rapidly towards Gabriel Jesus. Dummett nearly took it out of his grasp as well. And the ball back with Edison, and I think that's his first touch now for something like 12 minutes or something like that with his hands. We're into the 23rd minute now. We're way past the halfway point. The assistants are Mr. Bennett and Mr. Heaton. Just to let you know, the temperature is 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity 59 degrees. Just to remind you of the temperatures here in Manchester this evening. Not Manchester-like weather as they attempt to cross from Key, goes straight towards the goalkeeper Edison, who again takes a very simple regulation catch. 22 wins in 36 games for Manchester City, 7 for Newcastle and 7 draws. And the last victory here was for Manchester City by 2-1 last season as Perez pushes Gabriel Jesus rather stupidly to the ground. I'm surprised he hasn't been booked for that there, Jose Perez. Still, 1-0 to Manchester City. That goal very early on from Raheem Sterling has really put a complexion on the game at the moment, as Stones now has it inside the centre circle. The Saturday game live from the Etihad Stadium. Our first visit to the ground, and this is Mendy back to John Stones. Stones in towards Walker, again keeping the ball at very good speed here. Manchester City not allowing Newcastle to get tackles in. The ball was always going very quickly and moving about. It's been that sort of first half yet, but because City have really, in the main, have been the dominant force thus far. As Fernandinho gets the ball, goes over the halfway line and then almost runs into traffic, and he was taken out, but the referee not showing any mercy there. And here's a real chance now for the Army to get Newcastle up and running. And here's Yedlin now on the far side, back into field to Diarmi. Newcastle now looking for a way through. Key has it inside the centre circle, looking for options. Key, he's got one here with Paul Dummett. Dummett in field again, and oh dear me, Jose Perez, poor first touch there by him, and in the end Newcastle's promising attack broke very much down. Been the story of the match for them. They've tried to look good going forward, but they've just fallen flat on their faces. This is Sterling on the left hand side, deep inside the Newcastle half, into the penalty area, and that's surely going to be a foul there on David Silva. Looked a push there by Diarmi, and a free kick. And yo JB, I looked for the Saints match, but you didn't commentate on it. By the way, I'll be switching chat between you and my girlfriend. The Saints match. We did the Southampton game the other week at Burnley. I think. Are you referring to Burnley? I don't know. But we are doing the Saturday night matches. We're not doing the 3 o'clockers yet until Chris Whiteman comes back off his jollies. But we will be covering Southampton a bit more, Mr. DCL Charlie, I'm sure, within the next few weeks or so, as City come forward with David Silva to take the free kick. Oh, Crystal Palace, right. We did do him the other way. I didn't commentate on it. It was Russ Burnham who commentated. Here's the free kick into the penalty area. Chance here for City inside the penalty area, and it was Jesus' header straight in the arms of the keeper. Yeah, we did the Palace game. We did the Crystal Palace game a couple of Mondays ago with Russ doing the commentary, but no, not from Selhurst today. We were. I've also had to have sleep this afternoon because I work nights in my day job as a carer. I'm a carer in real life when I'm not on YouTube, and I do a lot of night shifts. So sleep is very much the essence right now for me in that particular role. But we're wide awake enough now to give you this Newcastle 3 kick because Sir Sells forward, the Army's right in there too. So too is Big Solomon Rondon. Jose Perez White to well fancy this one on the left hand side. And it is Perez now to go short, in fact, and a chance here for the crossing from the left hand side, and it's crossed in. Edison coming a long way and actually getting there. That was good goalkeeping, very decisive in where he wanted to take that ball, and he did it well, and he came for a cluster of players there. And here's Jesus at the other end trying to feed Raheem Sterling, but again good defending this time from Newcastle. Perez has it on the left hand side for Newcastle, and they're going forward now, the Toon Army. And now Jose Perez, he got into a great opportunity from 25 yards maybe to have a shot on his right foot, and then when he went to strike the ball, he slipped over and the chance had gone a-begging. Coming up towards half an hour gone at the Etihad Stadium. Here's Riyad Mahrez back to Kyle Walker. Now Mendy has or rather Laporte has the victory. Only one win in 9 against Newcastle, but only one win in 9 for Newcastle against Manchester City, and there's been 3 draws and 5 defeats in those 9 games as well. And the 5 defeats, some of them have been a little bit on the heavy side as well. Here's a chance now for Rondon to make something happen. Diami's there too. Real opportunity now. Kennedy playing the ball across, and a chance here for Newcastle, and they have equalised. It is 1-1. Wow, it's a great finish, and it is 1-1 here. Well, just when we thought that it was going to be a possession, Yedlin came stealing in at the back post and has levelled it, and it's 1-1 all of a sudden. Wow, and we might have a game on after all. I have to say, it was really good silky football this from Newcastle. That a sort of throwback to the Kevin Keegan style era when it was just short passes and along the deck, and I love the crossing from the near side. I think it was Kennedy supplied the ball, and Yedlin came just charging in at the far post beyond the defender Mendy. There's the cross, low down, Edison coming for it, can't get there, and Yedlin has equalised. But also it means it's bad news for Burnley here, because they don't want to be too far stuck in that bottom 3. I know it's early days in the season, but it's not great news from a Burnley point of view, but it's great news for Newcastle. And great news for Yedlin, who was very lucky not to get a ban actually with some misdemeanours last week in the game against Chelsea. But a half an hour gone, Newcastle all of a sudden, having been second rated for most of it, have suddenly found a way back into the game. It's Manchester City 1, Newcastle United 1. But I have to say, Newcastle, in fairness to them, have defended stoutly. And it shows that the team are behind the manager 100% as well, which is also, I suppose, a bonus in that respect. Stones coming forward from Manchester City. Feeds Riyad Mahrez. It's been a little bit quiet on that right-hand side for some time. Inside the last quarter of an hour of the first half. Fernandinho now for City. Being pegged back here. David Silva now. But if anyone can hit back straight away, it's Manchester City. Oh, and Sterling's ball in. Hooked away by Keir, getting back there. Good defending there by the South Korean, who signed on a free from Swansea City during the summer. Flick on by Rondon. But it's going to fall for Laporte to get the attack going again for City. Finds John Stones. Stones gets towards Fernandinho. Gets it over the halfway line. Plays a 1-2 again. Here's David Silva. Silva back inside to Fernandinho. Guerrero making a run, but he'll have to try and stay on the side if he can. Jesus has got Mahrez on the right. This is Mahrez now. Free weight in the centre for Manchester City. To Mahrez' left if he can get a cross in. He can't, but he has done the next best thing, and he's forced a corner here for the man from the Etihad. It's a corner kick which Riyad Mahrez himself will no doubt take. Can City get themselves back into the lead? Stones and Laporte both forward from the back. It's going to be left-footed, and it's hit it didn't even get past the first man, and he was 10 yards back in fairness to him. So real wasted opportunity there for Manchester City to try and get the advantage back, but they've still got possession with Silva now looking for Mahrez. And can Mahrez really shine here when it matters? Mahrez plays the ball back across. Fernandinho is there. Good control away from the defender. I thought he might have had the shot there for a second. Referee has brought the play back, and it's against the army. I think there was a foul there. He played an advantage for about 2 or 3 seconds there, the referee Kevin Friend, and decided that there wasn't a significant advantage, and that the referee here Yeah, Diarmi on Fernandinho there. I think it was probably the right decision in the end. So Newcastle have got some defending to do again. And Martin de Bruyne. In point of fact, I think my level on, we are back up. If you did, well, we did lose sound then for a second or two, but you haven't missed any significant action. We lost power in the PS controller, so I do apologise for that. I didn't realise it was running very low, so I do apologise for that, but it has been plugged in and we're plugged back in now, and we've got Manchester City on the ball now on the far side. Last 10 minutes of the first half here live. We are back live now with the game on the JB Claret YouTube channel. This is Silver over the halfway line. Sterling tries to coast in behind and well taken by de Bruyne in the Newcastle goal. He's not had a bad game, Martin de Bruyne. What he's had to do, he's done very, very well and competently. And Pep Guardiola, he's cutting a very long finger at the moment, but he's a very positive manager. I'm sure if anyone that's been watching the recent documentary that's out on Amazon Prime about Manchester City, it's a really good watch, and I would suggest that you pay. I suggest that you pay for the for a subscription, because I think it really is. I think it really is a very good watch, and it's worth a watch. And I just want to say that Newcastle are trying to really play their part in this game, but the ball back with Edison in the Newcastle goal, or Manchester City's goal, I should say. Right. Anyway, 0-0. Still 0-0. And you're not missing anything at the moment as Walker goes charging forward. Yes, you've said hi 3 times. You don't have to say hi all the time. Just comment on the football. That would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. as we see Iosi Perez dispossessed, and here's Riyad Mahrez, who just needs to get into the game a little bit more, in my opinion. Just taking a little breather there for 5 seconds. It has been a non-stop day, and I'm understandably tired, so if I do pause a little bit in the commentary, I do apologise. It's just so I can just take a little breather now and then between lines of commentary. Here's Silva now from Aguero's pass onto the right hand side, and it's crossed in rather poorly, I felt, from Riyad Mahrez, and it's behind for a Newcastle goal kick, and they'll be happy with the way things have gone so far, Rafa's team at the moment. And that goes behind for the goal kick. City were quite ruthless last season in last home game in beating Huddersfield. I think they beat them, it was 6-1 I think at the Etihad that day. But Newcastle quite a much more I would say die team under Rafa Benitez, with all due respect to David Wagner, whose Huddersfield side collapsed. That they did get a creditable draw at Everton this afternoon. This is Raheem Sterling running at the defenders here. Sterling inside the area, does well, gets his shot off, and it deflects away off the defender. Hit key, I think. Well, it comes back to Sterling once again. Manchester City 1, Newcastle United 1 here at the Etihad Stadium. Big announcement on the JB Correct YouTube channel that Chris Whiteman will be back in the commentary box on the Saturday game for the foreseeable future. He makes his return from holiday, and he will make his first commentary bow after the international break. We are taking taking a week or two off, and we'll have certainly very busy next weekend. So I think we deserve at least a fortnight off, and then we'll get back to the action in 2 weeks from now, as City try to play a 1-2 on the edge of the area. A little jinking there towards Silva, headed away again by the Newcastle defence. Jamal Lascelles getting the header in that time. 5 to go to half time, just under in fact to go to half time, and this is Rondon trying to hold up play well. Not easy for people like Solomon Rondon. He's actually belted the ball out of play over on the far side inside his own half as well. He's trying to hold it up well, and he's doing a manful job, but it is a thankless task. Here's Silva trying to link up there, but the ball just couldn't find him. In away come Newcastle. Iosi Perez again, his first touch looks absolutely appalling, it has to be said. And Newcastle here is teetering a little bit. It's Kyle Walker comes forward for Manchester City. 1-1 is the score as we hurtle very, very swiftly towards the half-time cup of tea and a couple of oranges. It used to be in the olden days of football. Here's Raheem Sterling. It's usually now a massage with a masseuse, and you get your own private locker room as Kennedy is penalised. Well, it's Kennedy and Yedlin as well, between them barging over Raheem Sterling, whose goal set City on their way to what they thought was going to be a routine afternoon. But what Newcastle have shown is a lot of spirit and abundance, and are not here to make up any numbers by any stretch of the imagination. De Bruyne building this wall, two-man wall of course, 20 forward in sky blue, as Kyle Walker prepares to take the kick from the far side. Walker chips it in, and I think De Bruyne got a fist on that, although not much purchase on it. And Laporte tries gamely to keep it in play, but it is out for a Newcastle throw-in. And it's deep inside their own half, as we see again. I actually think I gave him enough credit as I felt he should have got, because he actually got good purchase on it. I thought he flapped at that a bit. I'm probably doing him an injustice there, as Dummett takes the throw for Newcastle. Level at 1-1 on balance of play. They haven't possibly deserved it, but having said all that, sometimes if you dig in and not give in, invariably sometimes you do get your rewards. 75% for Manchester City and 25 for Newcastle, and 275 passes to 96 passes. On all in Manchester City's favour, by the way. They're the team that made the three figures in passes. 3 shots at goal, 3-1 in their favour. And on target, I'm sure that's towards goal, and on target, they'll give us that in a second or two. No, they don't. As City come charging forward once again, out towards Mahrez. Mahrez now, last couple of minutes. Mahrez with a good cross in there, and a little flick forward by Jesus. Or rather, there was Jesus in there, and also Sergio Aguero, who in fact got the touch. And in the end, it was no problem at all, as that was well pouched by Martin de Bruyne. No Kevin De Bruyne, out for a couple of months. Leroy Sané there as well. 1 or 2 interested spectators as well. I think Yaya Toure is another one there I can see, although he's without a club at the moment. There were talk about him going to West Ham. He did tweet, he said he was going to a London side, and a lot of people were saying it was West Ham because of Pellegrini connection, but that's now been cast iron denied. Here's a chance now for Sterling to run at the defenders. Good ball towards Silva, byline across the face, good parry away by De Bruyne, and then cleared away to safety there by Newcastle. But Martin de Bruyne there on a couple of occasions has saved his team from going 2-1 down, because if City were to strike now before the break, that would be a real dagger to the heart of Newcastle United. This is Kyle Walker now for Manchester City within the last 10 seconds of normal time at the end of the first half. Here's David Silva to Raheem Sterling, little chip forward. Mendy's out on the left, and he picks out Mendy here, Raheem Sterling, and Mendy's cross is half charged away, still not away properly yet by the Magpies. And here's Fernandinho now to Riyad Mahrez. Yes, it's Kyle Walker rather. Walker using his pace, well, gets the cross in, but it's too close to Martin de Bruyne, who feels it no problem. We're still awaiting the confirmation, and we've been told it's we're into 1 additional minute, for which we've had 30 seconds of that. So been interesting this first 45 minutes. City have absolutely peppered and dominated it, but yet find themselves still pegged back, because it's still 1-1 at the moment between these two great football adversaries. Newcastle are a very traditional club, so too Manchester City, even before they were taken over. Here's a chance now for Newcastle to come charging forward now. Could this be an opportunity for them to strike again before half time? No, the referee says that's enough. We have played 1 minute and about 10 seconds over that, no more. So frustration here for Manchester City. They're late for an early goal from Sergio Aguero, but then all of a sudden Newcastle defended like tigers, and then when they got an opportunity, DeAndre Ledling chipped in from 3 yards out, and all of a sudden here we've got an interesting scoreline at the Etihad. It's Manchester City 1, Newcastle 1, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in around about 10 minutes for the second half. But it's half time, it's 1-1. Join us for the second half right after this break. Well, hello viewers and listeners, welcome back to the second half. John Stuttard in the commentary box with this, the Etihad, where the scoreline stands at the moment as Newcastle come down the stairs, out through the tunnel and into the pitch. The scoreline standing at 1-1 here between Newcastle and Manchester City. City dominated most of the first half, but then scored early on through Raheem Sterling. But then, from nowhere, DeAndre Yedlin got the equalising goal, and we're at 1-1 here. City already out on the field. As we see, as I'm just seeing Kennedy just come up the tunnel. There's Rafa Benitez. You know, be quite pleased to know his team haven't had a lot of the ball. And they may have been second best for most of that first half. They've certainly played their part as well in what's been a high octane first half as well. So away we go. Oh. So away we go then. No changes from either side as the second half gets underway. Just to remind everybody at this stage, it's as you were. Kevin Friend, the referee. Humidity, it's 73 degrees Fahrenheit. It's something in the low 20s, I think about 20 degrees Celsius. As Sterling gets an early crossing there in the second half. Humidity around 58%. Newcastle get it away. Kevin Friend from Lancashire is the referee for this game. And hopefully we'll give you a recap on the two lineups as well in just a minute or two. But Manchester City in the sky blue shirts, white shorts and stockings, darkish sort of stockings. They're attacking the goal to our left. Newcastle attacking the goal where a good portion of their supporters are congregated behind. The Toon Army. As we played a minute of the second half, this is Mendy backed in field to Stones, and Stones does well, just holds it up, or rather I should say Laporte, and that's hooked forward once again. Here's a chance. There's a chance for City to go forward. That's at least for sure. Just to remind everybody that City with a win could go third in the table. And Newcastle could get themselves out of the bottom three if they get a win themselves. And just remind, if anybody is tuning in to us, don't forget hashtag JB Live, and then after 65 minutes, the votes after 70 minutes, we'll start getting votes for the JB man in the match. And so you can vote for your man in the match with the hashtag JBMLTM. As City win a free kick against Kieran Clark. Riyad Mahrez, the man tagged. Good little battle there between these two. Clark certainly pushing him over there. Formerly of Aston Villa, Kieran Clark. Well, this is a good situation for Manchester City. 20 yards maybe from goal. Silva and Walker, the two-man committee. De Brock erecting a four-man wall here. David Silva is a real master when it comes to free kicks here. Although the squiggly line the punishing Spurs hasn't been done correctly. Here's the free kick into the wall there from Silva. It wasn't the greatest free kick he's ever produced. Here's a chance for Walker though on his left foot. Well, Robert Mahrez on his left foot, about 25 yards this time from goal, and he smashes it over the crossbar for a goal kick. Very disappointing into what was probably a promising free kick situation there for Manchester City. But I have to say that there are some City substitutes warming up there. I have to say, City have rather been frustrated. I mean, they played really well in the first half all in all, but it hasn't been brilliant. Now Murkic, Company, Otamendi, Gundogan, Delph, Silva and Foden are the Manchester City substitutes. Just to remind you of that. And some big players to bring on the bench there. I can tell you Muric is the substitute goalkeeper, incidentally. Newcastle get a free kick. A foul there on Mendy when his shirt was being tugged. So Newcastle, it's Darlow the goalkeeper, Sterry, Murphy, Christian Atsu, Young Longstaff number 36, Mutu number 13 and Yosalu 21. So again, having to use the youngster, but Murphy's a good substitute to have on your side, and you know what you'll get with Yosalu as well. But Kennedy has been adjudged to have been offside, I think, as we come up towards the 5-minute mark of the second half. Indeed, it was an offside decision, as Walker now comes on halfway, feeds it into Fernandinho, back to Walker once again, out to the far side this time, where he just is waiting and Morris is waiting there too. It'll be interesting now how the second half develops to see what will City do. They have all those opportunities. They're missing that creative industry of Kevin De Bruyne, which will hurt their team quite a lot in their quest to defend this league title. They won so convincingly, the only team in Premier League history to win the league, totaling 3 figures in points, and they got over 100 points, and it's very rare you see 100 points achieved in 38 game league seasons. But City broke the record books, and love them and love them, they played some really good stuff, and you can't deny them that. I think they only lost twice as well throughout the whole season, which is about the amount that Manchester United have got at the moment after 3 games. Humiliated at Brighton, and even more humiliated on Monday night, you may remember, against Tottenham. Tottenham play tomorrow, incidentally, looking to go joint top themselves. They play Watford, and they've got a 100% record. Burnley in action against Manchester United, and the only game is Watford, Cardiff against Arsenal, and you would fancy Umar Emery's team to get 3 points in that game. Looking at the quality they've got on show there. This is Mendy for Manchester City, back in field now to Fernandinho. Fernandinho touches it on to Walker. Walker with a lovely little chip cross, but would have asked a lot of Sergio Aguero, who's not the tallest of men. Could have done with a Niall Quinn inside that penalty area there, Manchester City, in all fairness to them there, and he would have won the header, no problem. I mean, he was a very good striker, served City with great distinction, as well as Arsenal before that. It's Sterling comes forward and he finds Aguero. Aguero pushes it out now. Walker might just fancy the shot, and he does, and he scored! Kyle Walker with a right foot rasper from all of 30 yards finds the left hand corner. De Bruyne never even saw it, and Manchester City restore their lead to 2-1. Not a lot the goalkeeper and any of the Newcastle defenders could have done about that. Walker had a pot shot from all of 30 yards, and it rifled low into the left hand corner of the net. It was a fantastic goal, and surely up there for candidate of goal of the season. We're into the first month of September. Fantastic shot, really was a real hot shot here from Kyle Walker. Really struck this with some venom, didn't he? Good first touch to control it, and then he just set himself, and he hit this one with so much ferocity that it was in from the moment it left his right foot. Pep with the fist of delight, and Kyle Walker punches the air with delight. My goodness, what a great moment for him, and it's his first goal of the season. What a way to get it. Manchester City 2, Newcastle United 1, and what a time to do it. And Newcastle were really digging in and not allowing City too much time. They were restricting them to long range shots, as we see a substitution for Newcastle, and a very disappointing, I think it's Kennedy that's gone off and Atsu has gone on. Well, we'll double check that one for you in a second. It looks as if Kennedy's off and Atsu's on, so it looks as if Rafa's reacted in that fashion, but Kennedy is very, very disappointed. He's walking down the tunnel. In fact, he's walking up the tunnel because you have to climb up the steps to the dressing rooms, and Kennedy cuts up a long figure. So Kennedy off, Atsu on. Well, I don't know if Kennedy's picked up an injury and we've not known about it, but he cut a very, very disappointed fellow symbol there as he trudged off the field. I don't know what's going on. I think Rafa's got problems in his team, and there's all a look of animosity there. I don't know what's going on at Newcastle at the moment. I mean, the owners are setting the tone there, aren't they, Mike Ashley? But well, reading to that one, if you will, Kennedy walking off grumpy faced. I don't think he's had his best game. In fact, I don't think he's had a particularly good start to the season here, as Yedlin, who got the equaliser, prepares to wait to take this throw in. What Rafa's got to do now, his man management skills second to none. I mean, he's not a Champions League winner for nothing. He's such a great manager. I mean, remember, he's got to the Champions League final twice as Liverpool manager, and he never got close to winning the league. As Newcastle try again for an equaliser, and it was Paul Dammit on his right foot that's shot wide, and we're going to see a substitution here. Number 20, Bernardo, is going to enter the fray here. So it looks as if Bernardo Silva is going to come on, make it very difficult for me. Well, not only have we got a David, we've got a Bernardo. But here's Laporte now for Manchester City. 2-1 ahead now, and 2 Englishmen on the score sheet for Pep Guardiola's team. And here's Laporte again on halfway. Just takes the ball over into the Newcastle half. Feeds Sterling on the left hand side. Near side as I look. Sterling now away from the defender. Yedlin, who surely brought him down. He had a fistful of shirt there. DeAndre Yedlin, and a free kick to Manchester City. Sterling is such a pacey customer and a cool customer. It's sometimes with him, when he's on his game, it's a case of now you see me, now you don't. 10 minutes gone in the second half, and it's a free kick which Kyle Walker, whose goal separates the two teams, will take. 56 minutes incidentally gone. There's going to be a change here. Bernardo is going to come on in a second. We're just waiting for Kevin Friend to give it the okay, but I think he's going to put this substitution on hold for a second or two on a temporary basis because it's a City free kick. Walker to take it. Oh, and he almost caught Dubravka out. Still Mike Trop here for City inside the area, and over a kick attempt is in there, and a goal. Third one's gone in, but the flag has gone up on the far side for offside. There was a bit of pinball machine, and in the end it was Sterling who Gabriel Jesus Robo, who bashed the ball into the back of the net at the far post, but it was adjudged to be offside, although I have seen, well, Tarkowski scored from a similar range when it did look a little bit level. It's a very borderline decision. Meanwhile, in the Bundesliga, just to remind you that Bayern have taken the league against Stuttgart 1-0. We'll try and keep you abreast of what's happening down at the New Den in the Championship, because I know there's a lot of Championship fans that tune into our streams. And it's Gabriel Jesus, I think, that's making way, in fact. Bernardo Silva about to enter the fray. Gabriel Jesus gets a good round of applause, a good clap from the team, from the supporters. As we now get back up and underway. Aston Villa beaten 4-1 at Sheffield United. That was not a terrific result. I should tell you that Millwall and Swansea are 0-0 at the moment, but there has been a red card in the game. 5 minutes when Baker Richardson was sent off for the Swans. Meanwhile, it's a chance for Sterling inside the area, and it took a couple of deflections which could have caused one or two troubles there. Yeah, Baker Richardson in fact got sent off for a very poor tackle in the game down at the New Den, so it's kicking off there in terms of sendings off at the New Den, but no goals at the moment. And Millwall could do with a win, just dropped off the pace a little bit. They were beaten 1-0 by a late goal from Sean Raggett last week in the and the New York Stadium against Rotherham. Meanwhile, it's David Silva for Manchester City. Now a chance now from Riyad Mahrez to run at the defenders. Mahrez gets the shot in, half blocked. Newcastle just making a dog's dinner, clearing it at the moment, and then they hook it into touch for throw-in over on the far side to Manchester City. Christian Atsu knocking that one away. And still City coming forward now, looking for the killer third. They have had the ball in the net 3 times, but one hasn't counted for offside. Did look a little on the dubious side, but the linesman will give them the benefit of the doubt. It's still 2-1 to Manchester City. And Bernardo now takes possession. And he finds Mendy. Mendy does well. Picks out Raheem Sterling, who's had a marvellous match today. The England. Kyle Walker as well certainly has been very impressive, and that 30-yard thundercracker really has set City back on course again, setting sail back towards very calm waters, although it did look a very stormy ground when Yedlin equalised for Newcastle. City now keeping the ball, playing the Pep Guardiola way, the way that Pep wants them to be, free and expressive and all sorts of things like that. They've always done ever so well. 2 players converging on that one, and here's Kyle Walker again. He's had a super match, the former Sheffield United and Tottenham player, and he really is a superb player. We knew that when I first got a glimpse of Kyle Walker in the playoff final nearly some 10 years ago now. In fact, it turned out to be one of his last appearances for Sheffield United, Kyle Walker. This is the goal again, I think. I mean, he's took it well from over 30 yards. De Bruyne just didn't smell it at all. Goalkeeper didn't really see this until late, and I think it swerves a bit as well, which makes it difficult for the goalkeeper. These balls these days, they do tend to swerve around like one of those old style airflow footballs that you may have used to buy from your local newsagents many years ago. Ask your mum and dad if you don't know what I mean. You know, when we shoot airflow balls that used to swerve and swerve and swerve and swerve about. And well, there we go. And I'm just taking a little breather there because I've had a long old afternoon. So we're into the 61st minute. Just incidentally, when we hit 70 minutes here live on the JB Claret YouTube channel, you'll have your opportunity to vote for JB Man of the Match. Don't forget to select your player of your choice and hashtag before or after the message or the player that you've chosen with the hashtag JBMOTM. Here's a chance now for Mendy to find Sterling. Sterling now on the left hand side, plays it into the air. Silva again darting like an Olympic sprinter then. And here's a chance now for Mendy to get the crossing left hand side. Gets the crossing. It's a good cross and headed away by Kieran Clark. Still City aren't finished yet, and they're going for the jugular here as Riyad Mahrez tries to take a one player too many on the left hand side and ends up being dispossessed. And now Newcastle looking to break here now. Atsu is making a good burst down there. It's the Army leading the charge here for Newcastle. Atsu out on the left, on the right hand side. Christian Atsu now, signed from Everton. It's out of play for throwing to Newcastle, and that'll buy them precious yards and seconds. And we've just seen a replay here on the monitor of Kyle Walker's strike, and I have to say, every time you look at the goal, it does get rather better every time you see it. Nothing that De Bruyne could do to save it. As Newcastle now look for this equaliser. Yedlin's long throw in beyond Rondon. Atsu to flick it on. Still a chance here for Newcastle if they could get their wits about them, but the ball is comfortably picked up by Edison, and Edison gets City going, and it's Bernardo now. Bernardo has got Sterling away, and the flag is stayed down. It's Raheem Sterling. Little chip in towards the back post, and a great save from De Bruyne. Silva follows up, and it's well saved again from Martin De Bruyne for point blank range, and then Silva tries again, and another save. 3 fantastic saves from the Newcastle goalkeeper. There's a Newcastle player down, incidentally. Oh my goodness me, Martin De Bruyne, what two pearlers, and you have to say, give credit also to the other goalkeeper there, Edison, for getting Bernardo Silva on his way, because that was a good ball. And then all the trouble started here from here on in. Little chip back, and in came Silva then. Silva had 2 goals and made some good saves. Fernandinho had the initial effort. Great save by De Bruyne, narrowed the angle superbly. Then had to react very well to stop Silva on the follow-up, again from point-blank range. And then saved with his legs when Silva tried a second time and City tried a third time. There's treatment going on at the moment as things stand. Well, it's been an amazing afternoon here down at the Etihad. Well, it's been an important game, really, in terms of both teams really wanting to go for it here from the outset. Really has been so enjoyable. Sterling now in towards Silva, gets the ball back to Sterling, but the ball's out of play. Well, this is really the acid test now for Manchester City. Can they maintain this lead? They will go to third place as things stand with a win. Can they get that insurance of a third goal, which would certainly tie up the game as a contest? It would be amazing if they could. Fantastic performance they've put in as a team in adversity, in absolute layman's terms. 2-1 City lead. Ball in towards Fernandinho, gets it back to John Stones, and then Fernandinho offers himself and gets the ball out towards the far side. And here's a chance now for Riyad Mahrez to run down the left hand side again, twisting and turning and getting a good cross in. Oh, and it came in at the far post. It was David Silva, nearly the third. Came in at the far left hand post, and that should have been goal number 3. Just couldn't get good enough contact with the header, and alas, it goes wide, as we see the double save from behind the goal by Martin De Bruyne. Great for the save from Fernandinho, great second save there, great reactions, and Silva had a second goal, and De Bruyne saved well with his foot, saved well with his right foot, incidentally. Well, what a game this has been. Header on now, a chance here for Newcastle to draw level, but again, good blanket defence, and Edison gets it clear when Rondon was closing in on him, and Aguero is jumping as well, out for a throw-in. Well, it's been we all thought it was going to be a one-horse race here today. Newcastle have made it so difficult for Manchester City. The Saturday game live on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Newcastle trailing Manchester City here by 2-1. A real humdinger of a second half it has been. Been very enjoyable. And the ball played in, and that should be Lascelles, and Lascelles was surely tagged there by Bernardo. Free kick to Newcastle. And just to remind everybody that after 70 minutes you have your chance to vote for the JB Man of the Match. Just a reminder, if you all you want to do is excuse me, play with your choice, and then at the start or the end of the message, I do apologise, don't forget to hashtag it with hashtag JB Live. As the ball threaded through towards the edge of the 6-yard area again, the crossing low, kept in now by Raheem Sterling. Sterling now into field. Bernardo keeps possession, finds Mendy. Chipped in towards Silva, who could have had a hatful today. Silva trying to get the cross in. And hooked away. Well, I have to say it's been certainly one-way traffic, whichever way you look at it. And the ball threaded out again towards Sterling. Sterling again on towards Bernardo, and Bernardo gets the cross and it deflects away. Came off Atsu, I think. And City going for that killer third goal here now. As Bernardo now on the left hand side finds Mendy. Mendy now, can he get the cross in? Ball played back now to John Stones. And City now going for that third goal, the killer third goal that would seal the match. Mendy has it. Keeps possession remarkably well. City now going for that third goal. And here comes Fernandinho infield, back to Silva. Silva inside the area, still might break, and a chance for a third, and it's wide. Raheem Sterling with a chance, and he's claiming a corner. The referee, I think, it said goal kick. Well, in fact, so Sterling struck that with his left foot wide. He claims a corner, which I don't think it was. Regardless, it's a goal kick. Geordies have come a long way. The Toon Army have come a long way. It looks as if it's going to be in vain. Still 2-1 to Manchester City now. We're into the last 20 minutes. Time to get your votes in for the JB Man of the Match. Hashtag JBMOTM. And a player of your choice. Make it in the description below. With the comment section to the right hand side of the screen. Manchester City 2, Newcastle 1. Here's the score. And here is Laporte from Manchester City. City looking for that killer excuse me, third goal, which could decide the destination of the points here at the Etihad Stadium. Will they be staying here in Manchester, or will they be going back up to the St James's Park? At the moment it's looking like the possibility of the former rather than the latter here. Ball out towards the far side. Good football again from City. Here's Mahrez. Look at Kyle Walker breaking forward and out for a throw in. Paul Dummett did well. Newcastle about to make a substitution. Off goes Solomon Rondon. And on comes Yosalu. The remainder of the second half. Newcastle looking to try and level the scores here at the Etihad, but at the moment it looks as if it's going City's way at the moment. They'll spread it back towards Mendy, and now Sterling has it. Back to Mendy once again. Mendy once more on the near side, finds Raheem Sterling. Sterling back in sealed again. It's a good football this from Manchester City. Would be one-touch stuff. The hallmark of a good championship winning team, and a good ball out towards the far side, and a real opportunity now for Mahrez now to show his worth. Walker on the overlap. Can he get towards the byline to get the cross in? He's kept it in to his internal credit. And City just content to keep playing the percentages and keep possession here. They're quite happy to do that. Good ball over the top. Can Walker reach it? No, he can't. Out for a throw-in. Out for a goal kick, sorry. The linesman had put his flag up, incidentally. Indeed he did. Right, we are back live again. Quarter of an hour to go. City making a substitution, their final one of the game. Off comes Riyad Mahrez. He's had a quiet game by his usual standards, but he's still to settle into life in Manchester. It's very tough when you for the first time here. Gundogan will come on, the former Borussia Dortmund player. There's Dabrotka, who made some truly remarkable saves in the second half to keep Newcastle in with a sniff of winning this match. Takes the free kick, or the goal kick rather. It was a free kick because he was offside, and that's another offside decision again against Atsu. Free kick to Manchester City. We're into the latter stages of the game now. A third City goal would kill it off. Newcastle here still will probably harbour thoughts of a point. As we now go into the latter stages of the match. And the ball back to Dabrotka, who's made some marvellous saves in that Newcastle goal this evening. Here's Sterling running into traffic again. Good challenge by Jamal Lascelles. Led the team well. Restored to the captaincy, restored to centre back tonight. And I have to say he's done very well. So it's still all to play for. We are towards the end of the game. Third City goal. They have a free kick, incidentally. Gundogan to take it. Saturday game live only on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Manchester City 3-1 or 2-1 to the good. Looking for a third one that would kill off any chances for Newcastle to get back into this game. In towards the 6-yard area. Now it's a chance inside at the far post, and I have to say good defending there from Paul Dummett. It was a good free kick by Gundogan, and Dummett got there first. It was really good defending that, and superbly dealt with there by the Newcastle defender. Corner kick to Manchester City. Third one will surely finish it off. Here comes the corner into the 6-yard area, and it's loose, and it's fallen kindly for the goalkeeper Dabrotka, who's done remarkably well. We're now going into the latter stages of the game now, and it looks as if they're running out of time here in Newcastle. as we go towards the end now. 12 minutes plus stoppage time remain. Little flick on and it's back with the goalkeeper. It's like Newcastle preparing their final joker in the pack, if you like. Here's Mendy for Manchester City. They played really well today, City, and just could have done with that third one going in. They could still do that. Remember, Manchester United play Burnley tomorrow, and that will be covered live or delayed on the JB Clark YouTube channel for your listening pleasure. And the ball back to the goalkeeper, to Brooker, who's had a marvellous game. Here's Raheem Sterling picking it up for Manchester City. Over halfway line he goes. He's got options left and right. Aguero's there too. Good tackle by Jamal Lascelles. Stopped any chances. Stopped any harbouring chances for City grabbing that killer third. Newcastle still very much alive in this match. 2-1, they trail here. Ball out of play. As we see again on the replay, Aguero was there as well. Good tackle that was by Jamal Lascelles. Again, I think Ryan Sterling's had a magnificent game. Substitution for Newcastle as they look now with 10 minutes to go to try and salvage a point. And we'll confirm who it is. It's Jacob Murphy is has come on. So an attacking change by Rafa Benitez. It's Kieran Clark who's been replaced. As Stones plays it back in again. Stones now once again. They get Laporte going, and now a chance here for City to try and kill this game off with a third one. Here's Kyle Walker on halfway on the right hand side. Back in field it goes, round the corner again. Lovely football this from Manchester City. David Silva keeping possession remarkably well. Then the ball back in field once again. City going for the cutthroat, going for that third goal. And here they come again. This is Mendy now, 25-30 yards from goal. Finds Raheem Sterling again. Raheem Sterling back towards Mendy. Mendy again back to Raheem Sterling. Sterling still on the ball on the left hand side. Sterling keeping possession inside the last 10 minutes. Looks as if it might well go to a... Well, you still got a chance to do your JB man of the match. Just hashtag JB MLTM followed by the player's name, and that counts as a vote. But it has to have the hashtag at the start or the end of the message. Okay? Start or the end of the message. 2-1 to Manchester City. But Newcastle have given a good fight, and considering that they are sort of an inferior opposition, they haven't half put up a brave performance. We're coming into the closing stages of the match. Rafa so close to victory, but it looks as if it's going to be in vain. As we come up towards the end of the game now, we'll be with you until about 7:25 tonight, and then that will be out for the evening. We're back on the air the rest of the weekend with the Burnley match as well, and then a 2 week, and then a week, and then we take the international break off, and then we'll come back 2 weeks tonight with more big match commentary for you on the YouTube channel for your listening pleasure. It's been a tough day for Newcastle. It's been a tough day for Manchester City all in all. They've made heavy weather of taking the lead twice in this match, and although they have been a far more dominant force as you would expect. As we come up towards the closing stages now, 7 minutes plus stoppage time. The ball back to Edison. Again, hasn't had too much to do in the second half in essence, and gets the ball back once again. It's been a tremendous end to the game here, and it's been a really enjoyable one to commentate on, and still let me some late drama here as Atsu comes charging forward here for Newcastle. Looking for this equaliser. They still have a chance inside the area. And Yosselu was waiting in the centre with intent and didn't quite make it. And now Silva now stretches towards the halfway line for Manchester City. Silva does well. Now then, real opportunity now for City to break forward and score a third, but good cover again. John Stones doing some very good defending here. Otherwise that might have been 2-2. Good piece of defending, and Silva getting the ball away. 6 to play plus any time added on. Manchester City 2, Newcastle United 1 here on the Saturday game live. And at the moment we don't have any votes for the JB man in the match. I know people are busy on a Saturday, but we could do a bit better than this. As we come up towards the end here. Piece of news concerning the channel that we will have our one of our main commentators back in action after the international break. Chris Whiteman will be back, and back with a bang, because he's got plenty of words to say on the game of football. Excuse me. Well, it's been a tough baptism today for Man City, but at the moment, with 3 minutes to go, or 5 minutes to go plus stoppage time, looks like they're going into third position in the Premier League table. Gundogan for City as we go into the latter stages of the game. Back inside again. They're keeping possession rather sweetly here, City, at the moment. Sterling has it on the near side into Silva. Back to Sterling again on the left hand side. City really playing with a bit of a swagger, but still with a slender 2-1 advantage. It's anybody's guess. They've had a mammoth 78% possession, Manchester City, compared to Newcastle's 22%. So just shows in essence really that it has been quite a dominant display with the football by Manchester City. As they come charging forward looking for a third, and it's Sterling now crossing from the left, only half cleared, still might break here for City, but it's hooked away. The Army getting back there and denying City an opportunity of a third. 4 minutes to go plus stoppage time, and then as soon as the final whistle goes, we'll wrap up and have to leave you for the rest of the evening. So the last 4 minutes now of the game. Well, it's been a remarkable Saturday game live. A much more free flowing sort of a commentary tonight as compared to the final two that was attempted live. As I say, if people were offended by what happened on Thursday night, I'm sorry, but we had a power failure at our end, and here's a chance now. Silva, it's offside. Silva still thinks he can go around the goalkeeper, but he's offside anyway, and a free kick it is to Newcastle United, who at the moment don't look like getting out the City half any time soon, and trying to cause any defensive problems for Manchester City at the moment. 2-1 to the men from Manchester as we go into the final 3 minutes plus stoppage time at the end of the match. We're back in 2 weeks' time with the Saturday game. Will be unavailable, well, I certainly will be unavailable for the international break, and there are other things that I'm going to be attending to next week. Hopefully we'll be back in 2 weeks' time as Newcastle come charging forward, and it's Josselu's attempted shot got a deflection which took the pace off the ball, and it found very favourably. His attempted left-footed shot just gets a little deflection now, which sort of takes the spin and the pace off the ball, and no problem there. As City break again down the far side this time. Bernardo does well, keeps possession, does really well, Bernardo Silva, and wins his team a throw-in line with the edge of the Newcastle area. Vincent Kompany about to get a 2-minute cameo here, and off comes number 21 David Silva, and he's going to get a marvellous ovation. He has played a real blinder today. Hasn't scored perhaps, but that doesn't matter. His all-round team performance, or his all-round performance itself should get a lot more recognition. City have really, without David Silva on the pitch, City are a really good team when they've got Silva and Aguero on the pitch and all the others, but certainly the spine of the team, if it works, it works. And Vincent Kompany is about to come on now, and we'll enjoy this for all it's worth. And the captain's armband is on Kompany, so the club captain is now captain, and flags are flying in his honour. We're into the last minute of normal time. There will be, I think, about 3, maybe 4 minutes at the end for stoppages. And with fancy as we go to the end of the game now. Can City see the win out, go third in the Premier League table? But at least a good 24 hours before Spurs take the field at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon against Watford. This is Sterling now back in field, and really this has been a real cakewalk in the end for City in terms of possessions, but it's been far from easy in terms of the overall result, because Newcastle have made it very difficult for them. But there's nothing to be disgraced for Newcastle about, because they've really tried their hearts out, but in the end it's come to Gundogan on the edge of the area, and his right-footed shot goes into the top tier almost of the stand and behind for a goal kick. Well, I'll tell you one person who'll be happy that he's had a good game, Martin de Broca. The Newcastle fans, some of them look glum, some look optimistic. It depends on what camp you're in, actually in or out. We're 30 seconds into 3 added minutes, incidentally, at the end of the game, and time really running out for Newcastle to get that point they would love to have. But it looks as if it's going to be bottom 3 for Newcastle, and City has been standing to the top 3. Ball cut out, and here's a chance now. Aguero through the middle. De Broca to meet him, and De Broca did well. Still, Aguero tries to chip the goalkeeper, gets it all wrong, and it goes well wide of the far post and behind for a Newcastle goal kick with 2 minutes of 3 minutes to go. Well, Aguero just didn't look confident there. De Broca has had a marvellous game, and if anyone doesn't deserve to be beaten twice in the game, it's him. Man of the match, JB man of the match. No one voted, so I'm going to give the casting vote. I'm going to give it to Kyle Walker. What a fantastic performance. Not just his goal, but his all-round work rate. He's got for a lot, and he's just edged out Raheem Sterling and David Silva for the JB man of the match award. Here's an opportunity now for Aguero now to run in into the corners. We're right deep into the end of the stoppage time here. We'll be leaving you in about a minute or two's time. Looks like Manchester City up to third as we stand in the Premier League table. As City again just keep possession. Laporte gets it back to his keeper. 55 seconds to go of the stoppage time. And it's back with Edison, who takes his time and just hooks it away over to the far side. Bernardo on the chase, and it's going to be the goalkeeper De Broca. 40 seconds to go of the 3 minutes, and I should also stress it's a minimum of so it's all still stakes and roundabouts yet. 30 seconds left, and that's a poor kick away for De Broca. Probably the only poor thing he's done in the entire game so far. We've had a marvellous match. I'm very unlucky to be beaten twice, but it looks as if, barring accidents now, Manchester City have got the 3 points in their pocket, and they're keeping them here at the Etihad Stadium. But my goodness, Newcastle made them work hard for it, and it's going to be the same scoreline as it was in the corresponding fixture last season. We played the 3 minutes. No more. There goes the full-time whistle. Manchester City go third with a 2-1 win over Newcastle in the end, but Newcastle really made it very difficult for them. The winning goal from Kyle Walker, a superb 30-yard daisy cutter into the left-hand corner of the net, the bottom left-hand corner. Raheem Sterling with the first goal. And this was a wonder strike as well. Gets it into the area, left hand side of the area, strikes into the right hand corner there, made it 1-0 there to Manchester City. And it looked as if from that moment on you felt for Newcastle, because the floodgates looked as if they were going to well and truly open there for Manchester City. But it was a great strike by Raheem Sterling. That made it 1-0. Then the equaliser came from DeAndre Ledley towards the end of the first half, and then Kyle Walker's 30-yard extra set missile winning the day. Newcastle played pluckily, but just couldn't find a product in the final third to really give City a heck of a bad time. But they made it hard work for them a lot of the time, but it wasn't enough. The final score then at the Etihad Stadium is Manchester City 2, Newcastle 3rd. Newcastle stay in the bottom 3, and City now move up into the top 3. Thank you very much for listening along to the coverage from me, John Stuttard. We'll see you later on in the weekend. Burnley against Manchester United is our final game before we take a 2-week international break. I hope you can join me for that one, live or delayed, in the next couple of days or so. But for now, from myself, have a wonderful Saturday evening, and take care. See you later. Bye bye.